Well, folks, it's turned out Collective Shout just called gamers real world abuser. Collective Shout, I had to ask, what's gonna happen if that person, or in this case, that gamer, has enough resources to bury you?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, just when you thought you've seen it all regarding Collective Shout, it seems to only get worse. We have a brand new interview with Collective Shout from a place called Tweaktown, and this particular interview is honestly mind-blowing to the point where they are literally calling game defenders of, basically freedom of expression. Like, if you defend any sort of freedom of expression when it comes to video games, and that includes Gooder games, you are apparently an abuser in real life. I'm not kidding.
How about I use their logic against them? Which, again, folks, I'm gonna use this every time I talk about either Collective Shout or the UK Online Safety app. When I was either 12 or 13 years old, my second mature rated game was Resident Evil 4. And by their logic, and yes, by their logic, I am desensitized to violence or desensitized against women, or in this case, real life abuser. No, I'm not. And I'm still here as a normal person.
If you enjoy fictional content, for whatever that reason may be, you are an abuser in real life by default. This is absolutely wild, and we're going to get into this particular interview. So it says, nobody has a human right to simulate and enact fantasies of rape and extreme violence against women. Caitlin Roper, the campaign's manager at Collective Shout, explained in a recent email interview with me. Now, I want to start off right away with, you are completely full of shit, because this kind of content has been around for an extremely long time. This kind of content is enjoyed by literally hundreds of thousands, if not millions of women. If you look at dark romance fantasy novels that feature content, sometimes even worse than this, that is read by women on a daily basis, you would understand everything you just said is completely bullshit.
I think this is just a theory. I'm 100% certain that either Caitlin Roper or Melinda Tankard from Collective Shout or anybody at Collective Shout, they must have parents who didn't give them enough attention. They were either bullied at school, or perhaps they didn't receive any attention, or perhaps they don't have any friends. That's my theory. Otherwise, they won't be like this.
This is about freedom of expression. You're trying to say that apparently not being able to access these kind of games from popular gaming platforms is a minor inconvenience, not a violation of a person's rights. It absolutely is a violation of a person's rights. It's a violation against their right to have freedom of expression, to be able to express themselves in a way that is not illegal, right? Like, as long as you do things within the legal confines, then fiction is fiction, and it is what it is. This is the same mindset of people who think that horror movies and horror games are bad because it depicts gore and all kinds of violence and whatnot, and that's not okay according to these people. And they're trying to make it seem as if it's a minor inconvenience, that they're totally not violating your rights. We all know that they are, because I'll tell you like this, right? These are the same women that just recently got banned on X. They made an entire post complaining about how they were censored on X. Doesn't sound like it's a violation of your rights to me. It just sounds like a minor inconvenience. But anyway, payment processors get to determine if they do not want to host illegal content, including the rape, sexual violence, incest, child abuse, and exploitation and bestiality. Now, again, guys, this whole stuff about child sexual abuse, there is no video games that was on Steam that was child sexual abuse. They're just trying to pass off anime as child sexual abuse. That's what they want. They've been trying to do this for the longest time now. Collective Shout, a small group from Australia, created a stir within the PC gaming community when it targeted Steam, the biggest storefront and platform, with a campaign that resulted in payment processors such as Visa and MasterCard threatening to pull their service from the platform if Valve didn't remove games depicting violence against women. Valve was forced to comply with the demands of the payment providers and change Steam's policy to reflect the new changes. The response from the gaming community was nothing short of an uproar, with thousands raising concerns that a new precedent has been set. Of course it's been set. 100% it's been set. It's been set by the platforms that are allowing this to happen. Valve having to bend the knee to payment processors and ban games that weren't previously against the platform's terms of service. Following this decision and the widespread reporting of its impact on the Steam platform, a supposed harassment campaign has been launched towards Collective Shout. Now, guys,
this is BS.
They don't know what the meaning of words are, unfortunately. They like to utilize terms like harassment campaign. There is no campaign here, okay? What you did was piss off a lot of people, and they all let their voices be heard.
Remember one thing, there's what was that? 16 billion, or in this case, 16 million people who is a gamer or something? I mean, seriously, you said it yourself. you want to arrest gamers, but the question is, how are you going to arrest gamers when they're everywhere? Huh, Collective Shout? Gamers are everywhere, not just in the Australia, or in this case, in the Down Under, but there's also Europe, England, America, Canada, Mexico, everywhere. Well, except Africa, of course, minus that. Half of the population on this earth, there's like what, billion something that is a gamer? How are you going to arrest everybody? I mean, what's going to happen if you suddenly arrest someone who is, I don't know, the son to President Donald Trump?
It's not a group that's getting together. We're not like you guys, right? These people project so fucking hard, it's insane. Anytime there is a massive uproar to their bullshit, they want to claim that it's a harassment campaign, that everybody's getting together and planning all of these videos and getting together and making this all go down. No, this is organic reaction to your organic bullshit. That's all this is. People are letting you know that they are fed up with your nonsense, your censorious overreach, and that you are trying to be the moral arbiters for the entire world when it comes to fictional content.
And also, sooner or later, Collective Shout, your BS is gonna unite the whole world. Because remember one thing, like I said, censorship doesn't care who you are. Whether you are Israel, Palestine, Russia, Ukraine, China, Japan, or India, or even Pakistan, censorship will come for anybody. Doesn't matter who you are. And turns out, I'm certain some of you who are watching this are either from Israel, Palestine, Russia, Ukraine. All of you know, censorship is a no-go.
You're trying to tie that fictional content to actual real-world crimes, and you're trying to say it's the same, when it's not. You guys misrepresent everything that you talk about, and people call you out for it, and you want to call it a campaign. Because of course you do. That's the only way you could get any kind of emotional reaction out of the morons who don't know any better. So apparently the organization is now engaging with lawyers, the FBI, and even the UN in response to the threats that include pornography, sexual violence, and death threats. It is clear many of the men defending their rape games perpetuate crimes of violence against women because they are doing it to us right now. Imagine the world where these women, they want to say, oh, we're not violating your rights, we're just making it a little bit inconvenient for you.
I think the FBI and the UN will probably reject them and probably laugh at them. I mean, all of you remember how Zoe Quinn and who's the feminist frequency? I keep forgetting. Ah, yes, Zoe Quinn and Anita Sarkeesian did go to the UN on this kind of thing. Want to know what happened? The UN rejected because it was cited from bogus study. Think about that, folks. And the FBI, I don't think they're gonna care. Don't forget, the FBI is controlled by the federal government, aka Donald Trump. And Donald Trump always in favor of free speech, most of it at least, but this kind of thing, well, and don't forget, there's also the executive order which prohibit payment processor such as Visa, MasterCard to debank someone for their political beliefs or religious beliefs.
They're the ones that immediately run to these organizations like the FBI, the UN, or even lawyers to try to what? Quell online speech? What are you gonna do, bro? You guys are absolute jokes. They said, I would ask those who view the loss of their rape games as censorship to consider if they are as concerned with women's basic human rights and the glorification of male violence against women. Caitlin continued when asked for her response to those who see Collective Shout's campaign and its impact as censorship. While some I like how, you know, if you basically defend freedom of expression, that somehow makes you not, you know, an advocate for women's rights in any way whatsoever, or like you don't advocate for women's safety whatsoever. It's fucking hilarious, bro. These are the same women that advocate for trans women to have the same spaces shared with real women, and then they want to talk about women's safety. Get the fuck out of here. Anyway, while some gamers were upset that their games were now removed from the platform, many felt Valve's compliance with the situation highlighted an overreach by payment processors, particularly the moral policing of art and content under the threat of withdrawing payment processing support. Although some of the content is illegal in Australia, the campaign's effects have been global, and that's the problem. That is the problem right there. If this content is illegal in your own backyard, then worry about it in your own backyard. The fact that you're trying to push this out onto a global scale and you're trying to say the entire world has to bend to your viewpoint on life, get out of here with that nonsense. Nobody made you the arbiters of anything. In a nutshell, Visa and MasterCard deemed the adult games as an elevated risk to their brands through association. That's hilarious because Visa and MasterCard have no elevated risk viewership when it comes to their actual branded association with games like Roblox. They have no issue with actual branded organization relationships with OnlyFans. They have no issue taking millions of dollars in payment processing when it came to Little Tay joining OnlyFans on her actual 18th birthday and shooting content and pushing it out there for the millions of people who are buying it. It's fucking fucking nuts, bro. You
It's
gotta
also
be out of your
hypocritical.
mind at this point. Our work focuses on combating the sexual objectification and exploitation of women and girls. So we focus our energy there. Caitlin Ropen said, when asked about the legality of the content it targets, we call out this objectification and abusive depiction of women and girls, even when they are not illegal. Legality is not the defining factor. It is about documented evidence of harm to women and girls. We object to content that harms the status of women and girls, that objectifies and dehumanizes them, regardless of legal or illegal status. In some cases, of course, the content we object to is illegal, as was the case here. No, it wasn't. It was not illegal here. It was only illegal in Australia, and you guys got it pulled down everywhere, which in my opinion is an illegal move. It violates the rights of people who are in other countries outside of Australia, and you took everything down because you got offended by it. It's an absolute joke. I wonder why you women don't go after books. I wonder why. There are so many female gooner books out there. I mean, it's ungodly. You go to any bookstore and you're going to see a plethora of women in the dark romance section, all of them shopping as if they're not totally going to fucking fap to the book when they get home. We're talking about maximum levels of disc jockey happening under their pants that they're going to do when they read those books, but they're all standing around looking at the covers as if they're totally normal and not gooning. Get the fuck out of here with this bullshit. It's complete and obvious hypocrisy. These women do not go after these books. They do not go after the content that a majority of women enjoy that is sexually based. They go after the content that is enjoyed by mostly men, although there is a ton of women that play these gooner games.
That's
and they
true.
have been very loud on Twitter fighting against Collective Shout, but those women get ignored, ironically, by the group that claims to be all about women's rights and wanting to hear all that women have to say. No, that doesn't matter.
They also call Madam Savvy a man for some reason. That's called misgendering. Numbnuts. This is the reason why, I think I'm gonna say, this is possibly one of the reasons why men don't like women. Or in this case, men is approaching women cautiously because this is one of the reasons. Yes, there are many reasons of it, okay? And I would like to add this one as one of the main reasons.
Matters is going after the content they deem is sexualizing of violence against women and whatever they deem is primarily played by men. That's really what it's about. So anyway, he says he spoke with Caitlin Roper, the campaign's manager at Collective Shout, and one of the organization's members who pushed the campaign into the view of Visa and MasterCard. Here is the full transcript down below. So we're going to look at the email here. So it says Collective Shout is a grassroots campaigning movement against the objectification of women and sexualization of girls in media, advertising, and popular culture. For those less familiar with these concepts, sexual objectification is the process of reducing a person, often a woman, to the status of object or thing that can be used by someone else rather than a human being. Our work is evidence-based, rooted in the global research
there's no
for
such
which
thing as evidence.
decades have identified the sexualization and objectification of women and girls
No
as
evidence.
having significant negative outcomes for them. These include serious negative impacts on women and girls' physical and mental health, on the status of women, with objectifying portrayals leading both men and women to have a diminished view of women's competence, morality, and humanity, and as a driver of men's violence against women. We are a small team of women have been operating for 15 years. You can read more, blah, blah, blah. So in any case, I mean, this entire nonsense truthfully is ridiculous. I really don't see how they can come out here and try to call everybody an abuser that tries to fight for freedom of expression.
Yeah, well, I don't know how, but again, like I said, understand one thing, Collective Shout, it's going to take one person, just one person who has either the money, the resources to bury your company for good. Doesn't matter where you come from. And guess what right now? Ron Coleman and another lawyer is now fighting against the UK Online Safety Act. And these two people are not just any creators, they're lawyers. I'd like to see how that works. PC gaming is large, okay? How many PC games? You know what? I need to check. What is the percentage of the PC gaming population? Okay, early 2025, PC gaming population is about 1.9 billion globally. 1.9 billion. In 2025, about 3% of them come from Steam. Yes, 3%. You heard that. I mean, seriously, Collective Shout, did you heard that? Collective Shout? You thought that gamers were, I don't know, easy target, but when you learn that there is 1.9 billion gamers, and I do mean the PC gaming, how you gonna sue them, huh? How you gonna ask the lawyer to sue them? Because remember, it's 1.9 billion. That's just a PC, doesn't include the console, okay? You know what? Gamer population. Yes, in early 2025 and beyond, it's 3.4 billion. 3.4 billion. You heard that. Question is, how are you gonna sue people, or in this case, sue more than 3 billion gamers? Collective Shout? I mean, do you have enough money to sue them all? Again, this is utter BS and borderline imbecile for them. Collective Shout said it themselves. They are a small team, which I'm 100% certain that small teams doesn't have enough money to afford a lawsuit. And I do mean a massive lawsuit. If you want to sue gamers, you have to sue them worldwide. And that's not gonna work. They're gonna lose miserably.
人类，
你是什么？
你心中充满了焦虑、急躁和担忧。非人入侵者空罗从天而降，到处都将沦为焦土。
莫名其妙。
而你在意的人，随时可能葬身火海。
你想怎么样？
我想给你一个一起逃出升天的机会。
为什么是我？
多少年来，你是唯一能听见我声音的人类。放开身心，接受我的力量。
Leave a like and subscribe if you want gaming news, gaming theories, or you just want to see me play games. Visit my first, third, and fourth channel up here or link in the description.
等等，你在干什么？